Hey, well, boyfriends, hi, Doc South with you, and yeah, another day in paradise. That's what a friend of mine used to say as he'd walk into work, where I forget where he had some godforsaken job, like many I've had, and well, another day in paradise, and he'd go in and work, and dragging his dragging his tail into the facility or the plant or whatever. I was just thinking, I don't think I knew that phrase then, but I definitely would have used that phrase with this particular job that I'm going to describe. It was one of the first jobs I ever had. hmm It was with, uh, I wanted to learn about movies, and I saw in the paper, work in the movie industry. It was in the classifieds. Yeah. And it said, modern talking pictures wants you and all this stuff. And gee, I said, well, cool. I'll go see what it's all about. Well, it turned out it was about movies. It was the movie industry, but it wasn't quite like the movies you'd see in the theater. No, this was movies. Remember in high school and grade school, if the maybe the chemistry teacher would have a movie about, I don't know, the periodic table of elements. Well, he could explain it, or he could put a movie on, or perhaps the earth science teacher had a nice one about the planetary system we live in. Like that. They were always fun to watch, and I what people don't realize is those movies, the prints of those movies, after they've been to a high school, uh, the high school doesn't own them. The high school rents them. Yeah, they rent them, and the movies get sent back to this one particular place, Modern Talking Pictures. They would that's what they do. They would rent these movies out, um, for a modest fee to schools, churches, civic organizations, whatever it might be. The 16 millimeter movies. The film's about what about as wide as your finger, right? Yeah, yeah. Okay, you know the stuff. Okay, soundies, sure, of course. And what would happen is they would come back, and they didn't often come back in the condition they were in when they left. Right. they, they'd be run through the mill, especially if they went to various high schools. And our job at Modern Talking Pictures, the crew I was with, was to run these movies through an inspection system. Yeah, an inspection machine that would determine if the movie was cut somewhere. Mostly if it was cut. Okay. Chip somehow ready to break loose, and get all tangled up in the projector. That's what we did. The movie would move rather fast. It would almost like a propeller. The movie would be spinning, but it would stop, bang, just like that, if it sensed a spot where there was a nick in the film. And then what you would do is you'd wind it back a little bit, and you'd find where the break is, or the defect. You'd cut a little piece of the movie out, just a little, with there was a device on the machine. You cut it out, and you'd splice the film back together. And of course, you'd anyone who's seeing the movie after that would see like that, yeah, where the cut was. And but it would work. Yeah, and the movie was relatively good if you only cut a little bit out. Even if you had to cut a foot out, say some clown, in the gym class, marked the film all up somehow, or really chopped at it. Well, then you might have a serious cut out of it. But again, send the movie out. They'll just have to imagine what was in between, right? And this was what we did. all day long, standing at this stupid machine. And then once you got the film, once you got the film um, totally inspected, then you had to rewind it at supersonic speed, and the film would come off the end, and there you are. And of course, if you weren't careful, you really had to be careful you didn't get your hand in the reel, because honestly, you'd lose a finger, that kind of thing. And you basically stood there 8 hours a day doing that. It was a living. I think it was back in the mid to late 60s. I don't know. I think I was making a whopping $1.50 an hour, but it was enough. It wasn't much. I know it wasn't much money. It certainly wasn't anything like a whopping $3 an hour. Oh, you got to be kidding. Yeah. And the boss that ran it was such a, oh my God, was he? Well, he was evidently a major in the United States Army with General Patton's Third Army. Was it the Third Army for General Patton? This guy, there was pictures in the office of this guy in a major with a major's helmet on, standing there alongside a Jeep with Patton going over battle maps. Yeah, this guy took no guff. I don't think he took any prisoners either. He was a tough cookie, and man, when he came in to bawl you out, well, you could tell he had worked with Patton. Yeah. Oh my God, would you get chewed out? But he was okay. I mean, you do your work, he'd at least talk to you, and give you advice and stuff. But it was that was quite the job. I think that was, yeah, that was, I think, right after my thing with the Navy, and it was interesting. It was interesting. Not, I wouldn't say the greatest job I ever had, but hey, at least it was, it was. It was good for gas money. Yeah, and the occasional repair to the MG. Uh, Other than that, oh my God. Oh my God. I'll have to think of some more jobs I had. Luckily, I got all my fingers. One guy darn near lost his. He darn near lost the tip off his pinky. The machine was rewinding at top speed, and I don't know what the guy was thinking, but he got his pinky too close to it. And this fellow only spoke Italian. And I think I learned every Italian cuss word on earth. Yeah, yeah. It was he was pretty sore. Yeah, and yeah, oh yeah, he had to go get some stitches. That's for, and I think a splint for his poor pinky finger. But he was back next day. Yeah, big old bandage, working and cussing. Learned a lot there at that job. Yes, it was long ago, but I do still remember. See you later, friends. Thank you, and God bless. Keep working. We'll see you later. Bye now.